Welcome to the world of anime recaps, and today we will go over a really interesting show called Rokka no Yuusha. It's an ancient legend that with the revival of the Demon King, 6 heroes called the Six Braves of the Flowers will be chosen by the goddess of fate and grant them the power to stand against the fiends as they try to take over and destroy the world. Our protagonist, named Adlet Mears, is the self-proclaimed strongest man on Earth. The story starts with Adlet visiting the city of Piana as he hopes to be selected as one of the Six Braves by the goddess of fate. Adlet interferes with a tournament that's going on in the city to determine the strongest warrior and ends up taking down both of the warriors before he gets captured by the guards. He receives a little rough treatment and gets locked up with a broken arm. He's visited by a maid who's really nice to him and keeps asking him questions. Adlet remarks how he wants to be a brave to defeat the Demon King. He tells her about his wish to fight the princess Nashitanya before he gets locked up in a cell underground pit with literally nothing to survive on. Most probably not the treatment Mr. Mears was hoping for. He spends his time in the cell training, and on a night a few weeks later, he receives the crest of the Six Flowers on his right hand, making him one of the Six Braves. The same maid from earlier arrives and reveals herself as Princess Nashitanya and helps Adlet get out of the dark pit by taking out the guards. The two get out of the city on horsebacks and decide to head to the temple outside the land of the Howling Demons, the Fiend's domain. On the journey to the temple, the two get to know each other as Adlet sees the carefree and true to the spirit personality of Nashitanya. The duo encounters Kyomas on the way as they attack a nearby village. The two fight the Kyomas off as Adlet comes to know that a girl was left alone at the village. Despite the refusal from Nashitanya, Adlet departs alone. When he reaches the village, he finds a white-haired girl who's saving a dog. Adlet tries to stop her, but they fight for a bit as the girl refuses. Adlet takes her bullets away to calm her down, and it's revealed that the girl is another of the Six Braves named Fermi. He convinces Fermi to travel with him and delivers the message of him meeting another brave and heading towards the temple of Nashitanya. On the way there, Adlet and Fermi encounter a fort where the soldiers explain the working of a barrier to them since it might help the Braves. Later, Adlet and Fermi get attacked by Nashitanya, who's with another brave named Guldov. Nashitanya calls Fermi dangerous and accuses her of killing Braves of the Six Flowers. Fermi doesn't deny the accusation and instead adds wood to the fire by saying that her next targets are Nashitanya and Guldov. Adlet tries to stop the fight by explaining that Fermi is one of the Six Braves, but Nashitanya proceeds to attack. Adlet covers for Fermi and declares that if the fight continues, he will support Fermi. This cools all of them down and the group proceeds to the small temple. They get attacked by fiends as they enter the forest. While they're busy dealing with the fiends, Nashitanya advises Adlet to proceed without them to the temple. Something was clearly feeling off here. Adlet reaches the temple and finds an injured woman who tells him to head to the temple's door. Adlet blows the closed door open with bombs and gets attacked by a pair of guards first, and the same injured lady who was actually a shape-shifting fiend later. Adlet proceeds down the stairs inside the temple and finds himself in shock when the barrier is already activated. The rest of the group arrives and asks Adlet about why he activated the barriers, to which he replied no. Adlet tries to undo the barrier by the methods the guys at the fort told him and drops his blood while reciting the chant, but they were out of luck. Nashitanya breaks all the slabs, causing a mess before Fermi calms her down. A small girl named Chamo enters the temple and tries to understand the situation as Adlet again proclaims to be the strongest man alive. She's also one of the Six Braves and one of the strongest ones. Two more people named Mora and Hans enter the temple, and the Braves realizes that there are 7 of them now and all of them have crests. Adlet and Hans go outside to figure out the barrier, but end up running around in circles. They come back to the temple to know that Fermi is captured and accused as she's the prime suspect. Adlet defends Fermi as Mora reveals Fermi's true identity as a half-human, half-fiend. The Braves suggest introducing themselves, and as Adlet is going over his story, Hans suspects him as his story has a lot of flaws. Adlet becomes the prime suspect and makes the situation even worse by throwing a smoke bomb and using Fermi as hostage to get out of the temple. He gets injured by Hans as he runs away and passes out due to the blood loss after a while. He wakes up to find out that Fermi had patched him up. He explains his past to Fermi as how he meets his master, and his master always told him to keep smiling even if things get tough. Adlet learned both fighting and science from his master. Fermi explains how her mother is a fiend and his father was a human, but her mother hates her because she's not stronger than Chamo. She explains how she cut her ties off with the Kuma and is now on her own path. She leaves Adlet and returns to the others. Back at the temple, the Braves devise a plan to capture Adlet and split into groups. Adlet returns to the temple and runs into Hans. The two fight, but Adlet refuses to deliver a death blow to Hans to prove himself to him. Hans plays a bluff by saying that he's the seventh Brave and chops Adlet's head off, but it turns out that it was all just hallucination by Hans to test Adlet. Nashitanya convinces Goldoy to help her as she speculates that Hans might be the seventh Brave and explains to Goldov how she has trust in Adlet. Back at the temple, in the quest of finding clues, Hans and Adlet run into Chamo, who had decided to kill the rest of the heroes since she was bored. She uses her ability and summons her fiends. As her fiends are indestructible, the two decide to incapacitate her instead and successfully capture Chamo. Chamo denies knowing anything about the barrier. Adlet splits up and runs into Fermi again. The guy tries to convince Fermi and confesses his love to her. She gets suspicious and fires around to call other heroes. Mora, on the other hand, decides to change tactics and tells Nashitanya and Goldov to kill Adlet since he's the seventh Brave that infuriates Nashitanya. Mora and Fermi attack Adlet together, but as the fight continues, Adlet surrenders to Mora on the condition that she would let Fermi go free. As Mora is about to kill Adlet, Fermi suddenly changes heart and saves Adlet, allowing him to run away. He runs away into Nashitanya, who tries to stab him to death, but he somehow manages to block and later kick her face. Adlet gets attacked and forced to the place where they fought the fiends before he entered the temple by Goldov. As Adlet is cornered and injured, Chamo and Hans arrive at the location. Nashitanya apologizes to Adlet as he explains what happened. He concludes that the seventh must have used the Sun Saint to raise the temperature before activating the barrier, and her body should be in one of the fiends. The body is found a little later, and Adlet accuses Mora of being the seventh. However, Chamo interferes as she and Hans had already found the original tablets that had the directions to activate the barrier. They conclude that the one who broke the tablets was the seventh, and Fermi confirms that it was Nashitanya, while Adlet also backs her. Nashitanya accepts that she was the seventh and just wanted humans and fiends to live together after a few thousand sacrifices. She runs away when the Braves try to kill her. Adlet passes out due to blood loss, and Fermi gives him medicine. Luckily, he wakes up to Mora, who apologizes as she had treated his wounds. The group decides to move forward when Adlet's childhood friend, Rolonia, comes up calling herself a Brave as well. The group drops the confusion and decides to kill the Demon King first. Thanks for watching the video. Drop a like and subscribe to our channel for more anime content like this. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.